We're happy to see you here today again. Moscow Architecture School and Velux, we are continuing this series of Danish lectures in March. And today I want to present you our guest, Jan Søndergaard from Copenhagen. Architect, professor of Danish Royal Academy of Arts. And today we will talk about light and textures, which are the main features of architecture from the point of view of our lecture. You are welcome. Well, to start.
Okay, thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to stay here. Maybe I should just say that I'm showing some work which I have been responsible, which has been my responsibility in my studio, which means it's my own work I show you. And we divide this conference in two, this lecture in two, and I think 2000, and then I will show you my latest work in the second part. And for you, I think you should stay because the last part I worked with new material and I tried to find a new way to act in architecture. Okay. As you can see here, I'm a partner in KHR, you can see here, and it's a studio, and I'm very lucky because my studio is nearly a part of the architect's school, so I'm only 1 minute from the studio to my apartment in the school, so I am in the school twice in the day and twice in the studio. Here I take some pictures here to start with, just to explain what it's all about. To understand the Danish architecture, maybe you should look very careful to this picture because this is what it's all about, in my opinion. Because the softness we have in the lights and combined with the softness in the landscape. I think, okay, this is not a research result, but this is my opinion. I think that this is actually what creates our identity. This is our self-understanding in architecture, in all means of human aspect, I think, is in some way is in this picture. And I think that's very important just to deal with this. And here you see another part. This is Hammershøi. He's a painter from the middle of the end of the 19th century, and he used his whole life doing this research in painting the atmosphere of you can see the texture and the light and the intimity in life in this very you can see in a very small scale. So the complexity in the sense of the smaller scale. I think this is a part of our education as well. He used the whole life. He studied. He painted in one environment, one apartment in Strandgade, his apartment in the harbor area. But I think this painter has meant so much for the Danish architecture, for our self-understanding, and as well for me. And then this is another part, because if you go 2-3 generations back in history, all Danish people were farmers, which means that we deal with the landscape. And because of this very soft landscape, you could say that the same way as we add our tools or we behave in develop new tools, we also develop architecture. So in a public way, you could say that the houses were so small that you could really trust them by your hand, which means that architecture became a very important part in design, like making tools. And I think that's also a part of our behavior in Denmark. And another thing is that from anywhere in Denmark, you don't have more than 30 or 40 kilometers to the coast. We are surrounded by water, and the country is very, very small. So it means that this images of the light and the sea has been also a very important part of our self-understanding. And also, of course, we look ourselves like sailors in the past. And here you see a surface of, this is a facade in Copenhagen, and you can see here, I could tell about the same rooms. If you look at the color and the value in the color, you can easily see that this is a part of the Nordic light, which we talk so much about. It means that the color is very smooth, is very soft, is a part of the, you could say this is a part of the sky. This is the middle of the night. And another, I think, very important part in Danish architecture, in Nordic understanding, is that we never do anything for making, you could say, we perform in the facade, so we make ornaments or something like that. Everything we do is from a pragmatic point of view. We only deal with details for making something very pragmatic. It's a tectonic way. So this is very important impact of the Danish architecture. And in the end of the 80s, and actually in 89, I did a competition for the Danish Pavilion in Seville, which should take place in 92. And I won the competition, and I use all these images that I try to tell about, because I want to show Denmark as a small country surrounded by water, and I also want to show that we have a tradition of being we have been sailors. And then I want to make a picture of a very pragmatic way to deal with architecture. In this case, a mast in which all the function for a world exhibition took place, and also to deal with tectonic in this means that everything was organized, everything was produced in many different factories, but it was never put together as a holistic form. So in this case, I was working 1.5 years without seeing the result of what we are doing. But we put everything on one ship and we ship it to Spain, and then we made this building, which was formed by 3 containers in European style, the one you see on the ships normally in the length, and then 8 in the height, which means that we have 24 containers. And they were put together as this house where everything took place. There was office and kitchen and things like that. But that's not, it was more to tell you that this is it's a very pragmatic way to think and to handle a tectonic issue. And here you see actually what I think this is this is the basic of how to think as an architect, that you are able to work tectonic, you are able to make a method in which everything can take place. But in the end, I mean, it's all about how to transform an idea and a picture of your self-understanding. In this case, I worked with the light. The light became the soft light in Spain. This is in Spain, where you have a very dramatic light, which are much stronger than in Denmark. So in this case, the idea was to show how to deal with the light in a Nordic tradition. And here you can see the shape of the house, the pavilion, and here the interior. So actually, and this is, in my opinion, also what architecture is about, that you are able to deal with the function, and actually out of the architecture you can also you can read the function. In this case, the exhibition was underneath the cell. People was laying on the floor, and they look up here, and the exhibition was here. But here you can see the pavilion took part in the exhibition. When you enter, you have this image, but when you close for the light, you have this image. So this is, in my opinion, a very important part of architecture, that you are able to deal with this. And here you can see, maybe from the outside, you can easily see the structure and the construction. And also, I mean, the skin is, in one part, it's a sunscreen. It takes care of, it makes a shelter from the sun, but it also, because of the structure here, it's a porosity in the facade. It's holes, a metal plate with holes. You also have an effect of turning of wind, which makes cooling the building down. So you don't use energy for anything here. Everything is done in a natural way. And here you see the result of the many containers, and you can look inside, and you can see the staircases, which is a part of inside and out. So it's there's no glass here. It's an open space, which means that you can use it for the escape way. But you also have an effect when you stand on the stairs. I mean, the building was only 2.3 meter wide, but in this case you could look through the metal plates, so you have an overall look at the whole exhibition area. So you can say this was the most narrow building, but in all means maybe the widest of all, because it was totally open. So it plays with the lights and with the air. And here you can see the west facade, and on the right you can see an open facade, which was actually the cooling system. There was no glass, there was only light and those coolers, fan coils, which the river here, it was the water from the river, from the Danube River. We just circulated in this system, and a propeller took the wind in, so it was the cooling system for the whole pavilion. Sketching and drawing on a new house for Peter & Son in Copenhagen, and the idea here was to get rid of anything not necessary. So the idea was to make everything very sharp, to deal only with the texture. Here the brickwork, and here the natural stone, and make everything in as simple as possible. So this was a kind of upset. And here I was actually working half a year with models and papers and sketching without doing anything finally in a dialogue with the client. But the idea here was to make a kind of divider in lights, as I come up with a total new idea of how to create office building, a small office building on 3,000 square meters. So here there was a divider, a kind of cut in the house, only with light, and here there is a foyer, and we cannot see it here, but here there is an area with water. The water reflects the light into the building. When the sun goes down here, the water takes care of the light and reflects it up in the building. And here the light is the roof light, and then we have in the facade we have natural ventilation through the windows, so there's a thermic inside the house. And here you can see the drawings, and here this is actually the water area. And here the house, where you can see that in this period nobody was even thinking about using bricks anymore in Denmark. Everybody was doing houses, all architects was doing houses in concrete and marble. And a lot of columns, a lot of pictures, historical pictures. So this was a kind of, you could say, it was a new identity in actually how to deal with architecture. And here you can see this is the divider, this is the entrance, and this is the divider in light, and also in official light here in the evening. You can see this is the identity of the architecture. And here in daytime you see the light coming down. And that's what I really, and I have used this many times later, because I find out that actually working with light means that you can actually paint with light. You should imagine that this only takes place very few seconds. This is the light coming down, this is the shadow from the structures. The structure here is actually lamps. So this is artificial light going up here. But you can imagine that this picture changed all over the day. It changed all over the year, and it's also changed with the weather. I mean, do we have cloudy weather? Do we have sun? And it means that the architecture itself changed every day. So you don't need any kind of paintings and things like that in a house like this. And here you can see this is actually the reflection from the water. And you can see the water outside the foyer. It makes a very emotional feeling of an impression in the interior space. And here you have the space as it was in '94. It was finished. And now here, I think that there is you can combine all this light with air. And in this case, you can see the windows here are the refresher in the house. They are only 27 centimeters, which means that you are not able to climb the building, which also means that you can open those small windows in weekends, in night times, and so on. And so those windows, they cool down the house, and it means that it always refreshes. But in my opinion, I use it more like an excuse for having the light underneath the ceiling, which means a lot, because when you create an internal space and you can have the light coming in totally underneath the ceiling, it makes everything horizontal and it opens up from a fantastic environment, atmosphere. And in this case, I just go back, because in this case I also work with the brickworks. To have a very transparent brickwork, I developed here, those pillows we are not allowed to do in Denmark. They are too small, because you should have at least 32 centimeters, and those pillows here are only 23. It means that you have to put some iron here to support the brickworks, to take the load around the windows. So I show it that this is a steel house inside with a lot of bricks, and this is only a thin skin of a brickwork. And I like that idea as architect, that I'm very honest in what I'm doing. Everybody can see this is not a fake. And it is a fake if you combine it with a traditional brickwork, which are like this. This is like this, but there's not, and you cannot do this in the top without having steel inside. So of course this is a way to show I want a very, very thin and a very porosity in the facade, even it's brick. And I also want to, because brick, you can use a lot of money to make special brick stones, and we do it. But I had a normal budget, so I couldn't afford to buy very expensive brickwork. So in this case, I developed with a producer an old tradition where you burn the stone in a circle often, and it goes around, and then you can make holes from the outside, and then you can overheat the blade in the production, which means that you end up having different part of mangan inside. So you change the color in the stones so they look like very old stones. So to start, they don't like this, I don't like this new kind of red bricks which lean, it's like meal or something in the texture. It's not nice at all. And here you see the soil, it looks like an old brickwork, even for the same budget. And here I combine it with basalt, which is a natural stone from Iceland. The company has a relationship to Iceland in this case. But you can see this very pure and very simple ornamentic in the architecture. And here there's a different balance between brickwork and glass in the facade. And now I just show you some figures, some pictures, try to explain to you how I actually think in this light and this transparency combined with light. In this case, we had to design a new system for window profile because we want them very, very thin, and we don't have different in parts where we could open the window or where there was standing. So those windows here, they can be an open part or it can be a closed part. You are not able to see it. And it has something to do with this thermic cooling system with natural ventilation. But here you can see, and you can easily see inside there is a layer behind this. And you always, I think in architecture, for me it's so fantastic to work with those layers in light and in texture, and inside out became the same. And here you can see this. Here you look up the facade, and this is the facade to the south. And it means that you can see the facade behind this. There is a corridor here in 3 levels. Behind here we have concrete, but to protect from the sun from the south. But we have this skin outside. It means that you have a new layer in the architecture. And here again, you combine it. You are not able to see what is in and what is out, and a connection between. In the corner where you have the facade, and you have here, and you can look in and you can see the result of the light from the skylight. And here even easier, it's like you make a kind of loop. Inside became suddenly outside in this picture. And here again. And inside, this house is nearly black and white in its own. So there's no color in the house at all. The color is made by the light and the texture itself. And for instance, here you can see I designed this inside elements, which is a part of the handrail here. But this is stainless steel, and it makes a reflection outside. So I mean, use this part of the interior to reflect the light again. So, and here you can see the whole the whole atmosphere of light reflection from the water. And here again, the intimacy, like in Hammershold's picture, that you create actually in the same area, you create different kind of intimities in light. So it's like you can go into the shadow here. And it means a lot in this kind of interiors that you have these different intimities in all means. And here from the outside, you can see how the house itself reflects to the water, and you look in. So it became much more than a house with a facade and a water. And you can see here what's actually happened. That you can see the addition of room suddenly plays room in a characteristic environment of light and reflection. And here you go a little closer, you can see now the staircase inside, and it's made a new graphic sculpturing of everything. And you go even behind here, now you can see it's the staircase became very important here. It's like a sculpture in this space. And here, I mean, now it's like the light itself paints now and actually shows us the structure in the house. You can see easily, you can see everything in the house because of the light. And everything here is grey and dark and white. There's no color at all. And you go closer and it's obvious. Even the small lamps you can see here, which are integrated here, it takes place. It's like, for me, it's like trees in the forest where I mean, catching the light. And here again, everything is visible, and everything became very, very important in the whole picture. A corner, and inside and outside, the same. And here, I mean, for an architect, I think it's also very, very important that we take care of all detail in all means, to the smallest detail, and even the screw here, I think, is very important. Now you can actually look it up, you can easily see, even the profile is not wider than this. And here, I mean, when we create architecture, it's something very, it's a static picture in a way. But when the leaves, when the light, everything takes a part in this picture, it's changed all the time. And it means that something which is maybe very pragmatic suddenly became very poetic. And I think we should have a very, we should really be very conscious about this. And here, I mean, here, even in this very, very softness, texture of light, you can see all the detail became like a picture. I mean, there is actually no art in this house, there is only the house and the architecture itself. And here, the ribbon on the facade suddenly shows in the water, and you see the same streams just mirroring in the water, and of course it's changed all the time. And here another, just a corner I showed you before, now here in the water. And then in 2000, I make an extension to this house that needs some area, and then they need a big meeting room. I just show you very few pictures, because I try to do exactly the opposite, because I had to find some space underneath the ground, because there was no opportunity for making the house wider. And in Denmark, if you do it underneath the ground, it don't count on the area of the house. So we find an idea, and I create this underneath atelier meeting room. But I did it in a way where I was really upset of doing it the same way as I tried to find a very soft way to create something underneath the ground. It shouldn't be a cellar, a basement. It should of course have the same quality as being up in the light. So I use the light in a new way and make an enormous library in the inner facade, in the walls with wood. And actually, I think it succeeded very well. Even it was a basement character, a basement concept. It was not a basement character. It has the same softness as in the foyer. And in the end, 2005, we made another extension. Now they buy more land, and I tried to make a new image, which actually refer to the part which took place nearly 15 years before. So it was this water area on the water. So the whole, this is a panoptic room, but on the roof, on the floor, I just put water. And it has I did it because I didn't want this area to be filled up with paper and things like that, like a storeroom. But actually, it has a fantastic appeal in the people who use the space, because the climate inside the house are fantastic, because the water means that nobody has headache anymore, things like that, because the water gives a fantastic, it's only 15 millimeter depth, but it's circulating all the time, and then you have the reflection from the sky, so it also gives a fantastic experience to the house. After this house, I did a headquarters for Bang & Olufsen, a Danish design company, and they actually, in that period, they were very popular all over the world, and they were very well known for this human, you could see, identity of how to behave with television and radios and things like that. So they developed this remote, which became very famous and very in the design world. And I want to put this identity into their new headquarters, because you see here, but again it has a lot to do. I try to deal with the light and the texture and the landscape. You should think about this like a very open landscape this way, very small hill, the whole as long as you can see. And here we have the factory, which goes like to here. But in this area here down, we have the sea, so they could look all over the sea, to the water. So I rise the building up, let the light come in underneath here, and so it actually maintains and give a lot of view to this building, which I think is the most important part. This is the canteen and the auditorium and foyer, and it goes, and I think also, I mean, the production area is maybe more important than the office area, so this is a very important part of the building. And then I try to make a house in a means that this was a light machine. It was raised in the air, and you can see here it's to start with we had those pillows, but we pulled them down in the end, and this